Good evening. We'd like to welcome you out to the Elmore County Commission Work Session, Monday, June 12, 2017, beginning at 5 p.m. We will begin the evening with regular business. We will review the minutes of the May 22, 2017 Commission meeting with any corrections. Any comments or corrections from any commissioners? Review the memorandum of warrants for the period of May 16, 2017 through June 7, 2017. Ms. McDuffie?
Yes, Chairman. The amount for the period stated is $2,050,361.53.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, we'll proceed with the old business. Discuss appointing J.O. Norris to the Mid-South RC&D Council. If the commissioners remember, we've had Mid-South RC&D board positions on our agenda for several meetings. There was some confusion as to what was needed. We've resolved that. J.O. Norris has been serving on the RC&D Council as a board member for some period of time. I've actually been to some meetings and he was in attendance. He was appointed by another organization, and it was to be an appointment that was done in conjunction with the County Commission. Therefore, he is already serving, and that resolves the confusion that we had. Any comments or questions regarding that? Okay, we'll proceed with the discussion of two Montgomery Area Mental Health Authority board appointments. They are due June 26, 2017, which is our next meeting. The two candidates listed are Peggy Francis and Patricia Hardin. They are both currently serving on that board and are being considered for reappointment. Are there any comments or questions?
I just got one. Is that
Yes.
the same as Pat Hardin? Okay. I just wanted to make sure who it was, Chairman.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right, we'll proceed with the discussion of the Horseshoe Bend Regional Library Board appointment due 6/26/2017, also our next meeting. Candidate listed for this one appointment is Debbie Jones, who is also currently serving in that capacity, and this would be a reappointment. Any comments or questions? All right, thank you. All right, we'll proceed to the new business. I'd like to invite Ms. Beverly Stone to come forward regarding the 2018 Domestic Violence Grant application.
Thank you. I have put updated letters in front of each of you, which will give you just about all of the information you'll need. I did want you to know that in 1997, Sheriff Bill Franklin and DA Randall Houston together wrote the very first domestic violence grant proposal for the state. And it's been in place for 20 years now. So we're asking you to commit to, once again, submit our grant application for 2018 and to authorize the chairman to sign the application, and also for you to approve the match amount. The numbers for this grant, the requested amount is $150,556. The Elmore County Commission and the DA's office would be required to split a 25% match amount, and that is $50,185.24. The total project cost is $200,741.23. This is for the term January 1 through December 31st of 2018. I did want you to note on your letters that the match amount for Elmore County is $18,800, and the reimbursement is $75,200 with a net return of $56,400.55. I wish I could get that kind of return on money. And the DA's amount for match would be $31,385.24 with his net return of $94,155.45. I did want you to know that this project reimburses approximately 40% of 4 of the sheriff's deputies, 2 prosecutors, and 4 victim service officers. Any questions?
Thank you. So this has been, this will be the 20th year?
2018, I believe, will be the 20th year.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Have you seen, this year, the total project cost or the total grant, including the local portion, is $200,000. What was it in 1997? Or,
The grant award in 1997 was over $300,000. That was the startup. It has gradually diminished in the last 20 years. This year, actually, for 2018, it is a little over $10,000 more than this current year, 2017. We received $140,000 in grant money for the current year.
all right, any comments or questions from any commissioners? We really appreciate your work. I appreciate the opportunity I had to sit down and learn more about this process and this program with you, and I commend you for working with the DA for as long as you have.
That would be 25 years.
25
Thank
years.
you very much.
Wow, thank you. Okay, we'll proceed with discussing the agreement for housing city prisoners with the city of Wetumpka. Ms. McDuffie, I understand you have some information on this from Sheriff Franklin.
Yes, he just wanted to note that the difference in this agreement and the prior agreement was, the daily rate does not continue to go up each year.
Can you speak a little bit closer to the microphone there? Thank you.
The daily rate does not continue to go up on a yearly basis. The prior contract included, it was 3 1/3% increase per year, and this one eliminates that increase because the other two municipalities, it was not in their contract. So this particular contract is just in line with the other two municipalities. So all three would have the same contract.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Basically, definitely, are there any other changes in this contract versus previous years?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, no. No more
Okay.
changes, and the sheriff did not mention any more to me either, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And he got held up at in the office.
So my understanding is we have agreements with all three municipalities or three municipalities where we house their prisoners.
That's
The
right.
two contracts that we have that are in existence right now are with the city of Eclectic
Millbrook
and Millbrook
and Wetumpka.
and now Wetumpka. The city of Wetumpka's proposed contract had an increase of 3% per year in the agreement.
No, we entered into an agreement with the city of Wetumpka in 2011 for a 3-year with 1-year extensions, and it had the 3 1/3% increase on top of for an annual basis to the $24.50 per day per prisoner, and the other two cities did not have that increase per year. And so he's asking that this contract be changed to take that out so it will be similar or identical to the other two cities.
Okay.
Apparently Wetumpka, I guess, felt like that they shouldn't be paying it or shouldn't have that in their contract. And it's a renewal. This is a renewal contract. Since 2011, we've been working off of the annual renewal, and this is a complete contract,
Okay.
a new contract.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I have a question, but we can't hear you. Is
Oh,
your-
I apologize. Is that
Okay.
better?
Uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah. So what you're saying is, we will all be at the same price?
Yes, that's my understanding. $24.50 per prisoner per day is what we
Okay.
charge the cities.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to consider the Tier 1 dispatcher in training, starting pay of $12.89 per hour, and Tier 2 dispatcher, trained or experienced, starting pay of $14.60 per hour. This is information that was presented to us by Sheriff Franklin 2 or 3 meetings ago with respect to the challenges he is having with hiring experienced dispatchers at the lower wage, and he explained to us the advantage of getting experienced dispatchers, and if so, they would start at a higher rate and the brand new people would start at a lower rate until they passed some type of a qualifying test to prove that they were they merited the increase.
That they could work alone, or that they could work independently. Yes.
Any comments or questions on that? Okay, we'll proceed. Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think this will be pretty good until we adopt our revised manual, personnel manual.
Okay.
And I think that it will have all the things in it that we need.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll proceed with consider authorizing county attorney to prepare proposed ordinance for sales of alcoholic beverages on Sundays outside municipal limits and authorizing administrator to advertise meeting date. As we're all aware, we passed a resolution to initiate the process with our legislative delegation during the recent legislative session to propose the sale of alcoholic beverages on Sundays, both on and off premises, inside the county, outside the municipal limits. There was one amendment that was made when this was in the legislative process, and that was that on-premise sales, which would be in a restaurant, for example, could not start until noon on that day. And that was the one amendment that was made in that process. We know that the governor has signed that, and we are free to, the first date that we are allowed to enact this is August 1st of this year. But there's some steps we have to take leading up to that. So, Jeff, if you would advise us as to the couple of steps that we need to take and why we're taking one of those steps tonight.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We have to post a notice of our intention to consider the adoption of the ordinance. We have to post that here at the courthouse and any other place that may be determined appropriate for a period of 30 days. Contemporaneously, notice has to be published at least twice, beginning 3 weeks prior to the county commission meeting at which the matter will be addressed, and will also have to be published in all newspapers in the county that are authorized to publish legal advertisements. The notice will state the date, time, and location of the meeting at which the proposed ordinance will be considered, and also advise where copies of the proposed ordinance may be obtained for review. And this is step one that we have to take to get the ordinance passed, to allow the legislation that frankly we asked to be passed.
So if you thought the governor signing something meant a law was enacted, you're wrong. There's a lot of other steps that we have to take.
That is correct. That is correct.
All right. Any comments or questions regarding that?
So this ordinance will mirror that legislation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It'll mirror that legislation.
Okay.
And from what I understand, it's just a formality to just continue the process that we started when we asked this to be passed.
It's a necessary formality.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
okay.
And I understand from you and Ms. McDuffie that we've got ample time to get all this done so that the businesses will be prepared to start on August 1st. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I would just encourage the commissioners, if you have not been in contact with any of the municipalities within your district, obviously they have to go through certain steps as well. This legislation that was passed does encompass them or authorize them to take those steps, but we need to be encouraging them or at least notifying them that there are certain things they have to do in their city council meetings for them to do that as well. And Jeff, if we wanted to direct them to you for any questions, could you do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Glad to do it.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, thank you. We will proceed with the discussion of the annual reports on errors, insolvents, and litigations on taxes from 2016. This is from the Revenue Commissioner. Ms. McDuffie, can you shed some light on that?
Yes, Chairman. This report is required each year. It's what the Revenue Commissioner and the Department of Revenue refer to as their final settlement for the tax year 2016. It is the errors or clerical errors that were made in assessments. Insolvents are those taxes that were involved in bankruptcy and were not collected. And litigation is just taxes that were caught up in litigation that was not collected. Mr. Macon did note that the litigation, we did not have any this year, so that's a good thing. But anyway, this is a routine report that has to be submitted at the first meeting, at the first commission meeting in June of each year. And the Department of Revenue has already approved it, so it's more of a formality that it's presented to the commission.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll proceed with the discuss transferring excess tax sales funds from May 2014 tax sale to general fund.
Okay, this is also the Revenue Commissioner's fund. This is where it's Code Section 4010-28, and it states that after 3 years, the funds that have not been redeemed, the people have not come back and paid their land sales, their ad valorem taxes, that after 3 years, it stays in a fiduciary fund, and then after 3 years, the amount goes into the general fund, but then they can go ahead, they can come back and redeem it out of the general fund for up to 10 years. So we have reconciled the Commission's records to the Revenue Commissioner's records, and it is right at $50,000. $54,096.75 will be going into the general fund for this, which is about what goes into it every year. And then we just keep a list, and if anybody comes back within the next 10 years to redeem it, we'll write them a check out of the general fund versus the fiduciary fund where it stays in the first 3 years.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments or questions?
It's on the tax sale and when the money is turned over to the general fund.
Yes.
And then you say after 3 years, then that's when it'll be turned over to the general fund?
Yes, every year.
And then after the 3 years, you say the people have a right to redeem it up to 10 years?
Yes.
Well, don't they get a written from Thomas Macon? Don't they get a written deed from them?
Once they pay their taxes, I guess, is that the way that
I'm
works?
talking about like if it's property that's been,
Well, I guess you're asking about the process.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't pay their taxes, then it's sold, and then the excess of the sale goes into this fund. And then when the landowner comes back and says, I want to redeem my property, here's my money that I owed for sales for ad valorem taxes plus any penalties or interest on the money, then we have to pay them back what went into the general fund.
Well, don't, the commissioner give them a deed on the property, the people that bid it on it?
That's where these particular ones that are over 3 years old, we turn over to our county attorney, and he says, yes, they're okay, or they're not okay to pay, and I'll let him tell you what he does with it.
They go through a process, they obtain a petition to, and there's actually one on the agenda tonight that we get to. They fill out a petition to obtain these funds, and under the statutes, or under the law, there are certain criteria they have to meet to be able to do that in general. One of which now is they have to redeem the property to be able to get those funds. When we're talking about the original, the landowner at the time of the tax sale. You were asking about a tax deed. That can issue after 3 years if the landowner at the time of the tax sale does not redeem the property. Then that's when the deed is issued. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the deed is issued, then you say you got 10 years, but I was just saying, after the deed is issued to the person that bought it, then the landowner, they can still come back after another deed and give it to somebody else.
Well, after the 3 years, yes, sir.
After 3 years, they can come back and redeem it? Now, if a tax deed's been issued, then the owner at the time of the sale is not going to be redeeming it if a tax deed got issued. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm not answering your question, but I'll get with you and make sure that we're on the same page with that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll proceed with, consider a 3-year copier lease agreement for a Sharp MX 3050N for Revenue Commission Mapping Department. My understanding is this is from one of the Revenue Commissioner's accounts.
Yes, it will be paid out of his reappraisal account, and it is to replace his copier in mapping, in the mapping department. He is going to release 2 Canon copiers and get a larger Sharp copier.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, proceeding, discuss a 2-year hardware maintenance support agreement with EPD IT Services, LLC, for the Flex chassis system paid for from the reappraisal budget.
Yes, this is also Mr. Macon's, he'll also be paying this out of his reappraisal budget. This is the one that I was a little confused on last meeting, but this will be for the chassis system out of the reappraisal budget also.
All right. Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll proceed. The next 3 items are all related to the upcoming election for senator, and some of the items go along with that. Consider appointing Andy Dunn to act as HAVA, Help America Vote Act machine custodian for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff election, and the December 12, 2017 general election. Any comments or questions there?
Andy, Mr. Dunn is here if y'all have any questions on any of this.
Mr. Dunn, how many years have you done this? 23. All right. All right. Okay, the next item, consider temporary hire of Andy Dunn to install electronic voting machines at Elmore County voting precincts per Code of Alabama 1975, Section 17-6-4A for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff, and the December 12, 2017 general election. Any comments or questions there? All right, proceeding, consider hire of on-site voting specialists with ES&S per Code of Alabama 1975, Section 17-16-1B, one specialist each for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff, and the December 12, 2017 general election. And if you're like me and wondered what ES&S is, this is the company with the technology expertise to service these machines on site if there were any problems. Given the environment that we live in now, with tampering and all these other things, we need to have a specialist on site, and these individuals are trained to work with this equipment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. What it is, we can handle most anything that happens on the outside of the machine. But if something goes wrong to the inside of the machine, then that's what that specialist is for. Then he takes care of that.
Okay. Great.
And we have to have one per election. Normally, on the big elections, we have two. But on one like this, one's all we need.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Just a question, I don't know if it's for Mr. Dunn or Ms. McDuffie. Is this the same group we've used in the past? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, proceeding, discuss declaring Highway Department Vehicle Number 154 as surplus.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, since the last meeting, we have this vehicle is requiring repairs that exceed the value of the vehicle. And so what we like to do is have this one declared surplus, run it through the sale, and pull back one of the trucks, Vehicle 163, that we had on our original list, and basically do an even swap, and that's the documentation you have in your packet. Do you have any questions about?
Thank you. All right, proceeding, discuss petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Pamela K. Jones Hinton, Boulder Brook, LLC.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed that petition, and it is my recommendation to deny that request.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Courtney? Okay, proceeding, consider unclaimed funds agreement with Menotti Asset Recovery Consulting.
Mr. Chairman, I was alerted to this by Ms. McDuffie. Menotti Asset Recovery Consulting obtains or finds unclaimed funds. Now, I did quite a bit of research. I got them to supply references to me, one of which was UAB, UAB Medical Center was one of them. There are various municipalities and counties throughout the country that they gave me, they provided references. I had communications with an attorney for a school district in Illinois, and all of them gave a good recommendation. Now, where is this money coming from is the obvious question. Well, these are some sort of refunds that are due the county that either didn't get here because maybe an address was wrong, a zip code was wrong, something was wrong. So the money is sitting in an unclaimed funds, or it's being held as unclaimed funds. And as to the question where, well, that's what they sell. That's their secret sauce. They won't tell me. They have certainly assured me that it is not of a public, something that we could readily find ourselves. I asked Ms. McDuffie about it. She doesn't know where the funds might be coming from. There is no money paid up front. The contract is a 20% fee. However, I negotiated that down to a 10% fee. There's no risk in all of the communications with all of the references that I had. They all said they were skeptical, but there was no risk. They got paid, no problems. For what it's worth, they have they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So it's my recommendation to execute the contract.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll proceed with the consent docket, approving the travel memorandum and approve proposed plat for Brookwood Plat 7. Any comments or questions on those?
see Brookwood, what was on the travel number?
ACCA, Eric Jones for the ACCA conference in
August?
August. That's the only item on there. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll proceed with personnel notifications. Notification of resignation of Kevin Boone, Assistant County Engineer, effective 6/1/17. Notification of resignation of Gabriel White, Corrections Officer, effective 5/27/17. Notification of hire of Kenneth Smith, Corrections Officer, to replace G. White, effective 6/13/17. Notification of promotion of Callie Cook, Tag Clerk, to Office Manager, Millbrook Tag, effective 5/22/17. Notification of transfer of Christina Womble, Tag Clerk, to Wetumpka Tag, replace C. Cook, effective 5/22/17. Notification of hire of Cameron Ricks, Part-Time Corrections Officer, to replace A. Walton, effective 5/28/17. Notification of hire of Jacob Turner, Corrections Officer, replace W. Patterson, effective 5/30/17. Notification of resignation of Frank Alex Morrow, Courthouse Security, effective 6/9/17. Notification of hire of Louis Stan Walls, Courthouse Security, replace F. Morrow, effective 6/12/17. Notification of hire of K. S. Allen, Part-Time Corrections Officer, fill vacant position, effective 6/13/17. Notification of hire of Rhonda Penn, Part-Time Crenshaw Park Summer Program Activities Coordinator, budgeted position, effective 6/1/17. Notification of hire of Raven Crenshaw, Part-Time Crenshaw Park Summer Program Helper, effective 6/5/17. We'll proceed with the reports to the Commission. County Administrator, Ms. McDuffie.
No report tonight, but I will be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just a couple items. With the discussion of the voting, just for your information, since this will be the first voting cycle y'all go through, we do provide facility management help for Andy to be able to get all the voting machines out. That was a change that we made a couple years ago, and Andy does a very good job making sure that now it's Tyler Blankenship helps him, making sure Tyler's up to speed on what has to go on and what needs to be going on. So you will see that during those the end of this year and next year with the voting cycle. That's one reason we have our part-time help in the facilities kind of take up the slack while he's helping with the election process. Our micro projects were completed last year, last week, both our federal aid and our local projects that we had done. If you go by the judicial complex, you can see that we finally finished the last bit of work there to where it's striped and microed and striped. Our bridge replacement projects on Ingram Road are on target still. If we just keep the weather at bay, they can get finished and get out of the wet area and be able to get the walls and the top put on there so the county can start with their backfill. We've got our asphalt work in the city and counties working on the joint projects, plus a couple surface treatments that are going down in the Elmore area. Agreements that we have with the town to get those stretches of Politic and working on Mercer Road to get those done, and then we have either reimbursable agreements or they're going to take over maintenance of a stretch of road. And then this weekend we had our countywide cleanup. We're still getting everything synced up with going to our static sites and the one that bounces back and forth between Elmore and Cusada. Still learning a few things there, but I think overall it went very well. But we'll keep working the kinks out, and then there'll be some things come budget time that we'll suggest that maybe can help us provide even better service to the citizens on that front. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have in the way of a report. Do y'all have any questions of me?
Thank you. All right, EMA, Eric Jones.
Yes, sir. I've got just a couple of things, just a brief update tonight. 2 weeks ago on May 31st, we had our countywide hurricane tabletop exercise. It went really well, had a really good participation out of the different entities across the county. We are working on a functional EOC exercise on the same, or with a different planning group, but for a Harris Dam failure exercise. That'll be on August 29th. we're working through the planning of that exercise now, and that will be a functional EOC exercise. We did also host a preparedness training class for water and wastewater utilities last week that was pretty well attended, and it was a very good training opportunity. We've got another one coming up for hospitals and healthcare facilities that we're hosting in July. And we've also got another CPR AED training course scheduled for July the 13th. I'll send all of these training opportunities out to you all so that y'all can pass them along to who you'd like. And then we've just been working on continuing to provide some information on our mitigation grant applications that we've got in place right now. And that's pretty much what we've got right now that we're working on. Do y'all have any questions of me at this time?
No? Thank you.
Certainly.
All right, County Attorney Jeff Courtney.
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman. I'll be glad to answer any questions, though.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll proceed with reports from the Commission. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt.
I'd like to say that I appreciate the ones of you that are here tonight, and any way we can assist you with the voting, be happy to make sure that goes smoothly. Also, I'd like to say that I've worked with Richie since the last meeting on several issues, and they were all resolved satisfactorily, and I appreciate their work. The employees and the other engineers, they did a good job. Thank you, Richie.
Thank you, Commissioner Holt. Commissioner Daughtry.
It's good to see you here tonight, especially I'd like to tell Andy we're always glad to see him. He's put in a lot of dedicated years and hard work for the county, and it's a joy to have people like that. Unfortunately, during the last week, Elmore County experienced its first murder of 2017, and I certainly want to commend Sheriff Franklin and his fine investigative staff. In a matter of hours, they had that one solved, and we are very blessed, as I'm sure all of you can attest, to have the fine law enforcement agencies that we have, and particularly the Elmore County Sheriff's Department, and the fine work that they do for the citizens of this county. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
Thank you, Chairman. I serve as the commission rep on the Elmore County Emergency Medical Services Board, and that organization is tasked with managing the contract for service for the ambulance service in the county. We also it's also provided in 5 of the municipalities in the county as well. And I just wanted to report the last data that I saw. Our ambulance service in the county is compliant by 91% for on the time guidelines that have been put in place in the contract, which is pretty remarkable considering we have some very remote areas in our county. So just be rest assured that if you call for an ambulance, you're going to get one relatively fast, pending weather, of course. As for District 4 specific, I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that we are going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony at the Grandview YMCA this Wednesday at 10 o'clock on some improvements they've made on their facilities. And also the Millbrook Chamber is going to hold their annual luncheon meeting this Thursday at the Alabama Wildlife Natureplex, where you can also test drive a Tesla and a BMW electric car. Now, that may be the only time I get to drive one of those, so I'm going to go over there and try that out this week. So, Chairman, that's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad to see everyone here today. And I just want to thank our staff and all the subordinates for the service that they give to the citizens of this county. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I just appreciate you being here. I want to express my appreciation to my fellow commissioners and all the work that they do, much of which seemingly goes unnoticed. We don't call each other every time we do something or every time we try to help somebody out, but I know that on a daily basis they're communicating with citizens, they're encouraging citizens to be active and involved, and they're doing everything that they can to meet the needs of the citizens as well as the staff that we have. So I commend each of them for the work that they do, and the challenges that we face as a county, but the positive outlook and the direction that we're headed. I just confirmed that I have given some consideration to taking an opportunity within my district to hold a town hall where I may be able to meet with the citizens and answer some specific questions that they have that may not be for a meeting such as this, which is more formal and business in nature, but something that I could answer some questions, I could engage with the citizens and learn of some of their concerns. So I will be hosting a town hall meeting on Tuesday, July the 11th at Mulder Church at 6 p.m. And as you know, we as commissioners are limited in where we can be together. If you ever see two of us standing together and the third one walk up, you see the other two start looking at each other weird, and we start like trying to figure out who's going to leave this conversation. And but you know, I think that so for that reason, you know, this within my district will be a town hall meeting that I will be hosting, and hopefully I'll be able to provide the citizens of my district and any others who desire to come some more clarity or specific answers on some of the questions they may have that may not be addressed in these meetings on a bi-weekly basis. So you'll hear more about that, but and possibly my fellow commissioners may choose to do something similar in their districts at some point in the future. That's all I have. I'll turn the time over to Kimberly for important calendar dates.
Just one calendar date. The next meeting is June 26th at 5 o'clock with the business meeting following.
All right, thank you. We will reconvene shortly. To the Elmore County Commission business meeting, Monday, June 12, 2017, beginning at 6 p.m. We'll begin with an invocation, and I will offer that, following which Commissioner Mercer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity to gather together as citizens in this great county. We are grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in the country in which we live. We are grateful for the opportunity that we have to govern ourselves and to learn from one another and to improve our lives in this area. We are grateful for the many unseen and unnoticed acts of kindness that our citizens are providing one for another. We are grateful for their willingness to follow the example of Jesus Christ. We ask Thee to bless us, that we will be mindful of those around us, that we will consider their needs, that we will seek to understand and be compassionate to others. We ask Thee to bless us all with safety and peace in our hearts and minds. And this we say humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Commissioner Mercer. Thank you. All right. Ms. Kimberly, will you call roll, please?
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Here.
Chairman Studd?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
Here.
All right, we'll proceed with regular business. Motion to approve the minutes of May 22, 2017 Commission meeting as presented during the work session. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Studd?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve memorandum of warrants for the period of May 16, 2017 through June 7, 2017?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Studd?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, proceeding with old business, is there a motion to approve or deny the appointing of J.O. Norris to the Mid-South RC&D Council?
I make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Studd?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, proceeding with new business. Motion to approve 2018 domestic violence grant application, authorize chairman to execute and approve county's match of $18,800.10.
Motion to approve.
Second, if it's in the budget.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve agreement for housing city prisoners with the city of Wetumpka and authorize chairman to execute?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve Tier 1 dispatcher in training, starting pay of $12.89 per hour, and Tier 2 dispatcher trained or experienced, starting pay of $14.60 per hour?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, motion to approve authorizing the process for implementation of the legislation that was passed for proposed ordinance of sales of alcoholic beverages on Sundays outside municipal limits, and authorize county attorney and administrator to advertise meeting and executing any and all necessary documents.
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve annual report on errors, insolvents, and litigations on taxes for 2016?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve transferring excess tax sales funds from May 2014 tax sale to general fund?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve a 3-year copier lease agreement for a Sharp MX 3050N for Revenue Commission Mapping Department?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve a 2-year hardware maintenance support agreement with EPD IT Services LLC for the Flex chassis system paid for from the reappraisal budget?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ken.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, motion to approve appointing Andy Dunn to act as HAVA Help America Vote Act machine custodian for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff election, and the December 12, 2017 general election.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve temporary hire of Andy Dunn to install electronic voting machines at Elmore County voting precincts per Code of Alabama 1975, Section 17-6-4A for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff, and the December 12, 2017 general election?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve hire of on-site voting specialists with ES&S per Code of Alabama 1975, Section 17-16-1B, one specialist each for the August 15, 2017 primary, September 26, 2017 runoff, and the December 12, 2017 general election?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves. Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve declaring Highway Department Vehicle Number 154 as surplus?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to deny petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Pamela K. Jones Hinton, Boulder Brook LLC?
Motion denied.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve unclaimed funds agreement with Minotti Asset Recovery Consulting and authorize chairman to execute?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve the consent docket?
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, personnel notifications, notification of resignation of Kevin Boone, Assistant County Engineer, effective 6/1/17. Notification of resignation of Gabriel White, Corrections Officer, effective 5/27/17. Notification of hire of Kenneth Smith, Corrections Officer, to replace G. White, effective 6/13/17. Notification of promotion of Callie Cook, Tag Clerk, to Office Manager, Millbrook Tag, effective 5/22/17. Notification of transfer of Christina Womble, Tag Clerk, to Wetumpka Tag, replace C. Cook, effective 5/22/17. Notification of hire of Cameron Ricks, Part-Time Corrections Officer, replace A. Walton, effective 5/28/17. Notification of hire of Jacob Turner, Corrections Officer, replace W. Patterson, effective 5/30/17. Notification of resignation of Frank Alex Morrow, Courthouse Security, effective 6/9/17. Notification of hire of Louis Stan Walls, Courthouse Security, to replace F. Morrow, effective 6/12/17. Notification of hire of K.S. Allen, Part-Time Corrections Officer, fill vacant position, effective 6/13/17. Notification of hire of Rhonda Penn, Part-Time Crenshaw Park Summer Program Activities Coordinator, a budgeted position, effective 6/1/17. Notification of hire of Raven Crenshaw, Part-Time Crenshaw Park Summer Program Helper, effective 6/5/17. Does anyone have any additional reports to the Commission? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.